Yeah, well, it's a long story. There's a scientific aspect of a philosophical aspect, but I think that there's an ancient maxim of St. Augustine, credo ut intelligam, believe in order to know. If you have a prior belief in a benevolent creator, that implies that has positive implications for our ability to know the world, because it implies that our minds have been made in a way that allows us to do so. When knowledge, when in the field of epistemology, the subject of how we know what we know and the grounds and justification of knowledge, in the field of epistemology, when you get secular figures like David Hume, and they want to separate our ability to know from theistic belief, and they want to ground knowledge only in empirical observation, what arises out of that is skepticism. Because Hume famously argues that we can't know. We can't know those inductive generalizations, which are the very object of scientific inquiry. We want to know the general laws that describe nature. Well, that's the very thing Hume says we can't ever know. And so you have this postmodern turn as it comes down to us in the last couple of centuries, where there's a doubting of our ability to know. And so that's taking place in philosophy. And then in science, in the 19th century, you have this corresponding affirmation from people that science is the only way to know, and that what science is figuring out is how everything came to be without the assistance of any designing intelligence whatsoever. So you have the 19th century origins theories. You have Laplace explaining the origin of the solar system. You have Darwin explaining the origin of new forms of life. You have Huxley and Haeckel extending his ideas to try to explain the origin of the first life. Darwin himself extends his idea in the other direction to try to explain the origin of human life. And then you get figures like Marx and Freud and many other scientific materialists. I think Darwin, Marx, and Freud, in a way, are illustrative of the zeitgeist.
Trifecta.
Darwin tells us where we came from in materialistic terms. Marx has his dialectical materialistic account of where the human race is going, with his utopian vision of the future of a socialist state. And then Freud, in the early 20th century, has an account of what to do about our guilt, but explaining it away, and then also argues that God did not create man, that man created the concept of God. And so you have this complete reversal in the establishment of this materialistic worldview, and a worldview that's often asserted with great certainty by the scientists. At the same time, that the philosophers are saying we can't know anything at all, and that the scientific method that we should be skeptical about the scientific method. So you have this kind of schizophrenia within intellectual thought, and that's why I think one of the wonderful things that commends theism, I think, affirms scientific realism, and also allows us to do good science.